Oh, I forgot about my coffee. Ooh, getting tired now. I've done over 7 hours of tarot today. I'm getting absolutely spoiled. Spirit guides, universe and angels, please stand beside me and guide me for Pisces' highest good. How is Pisces feeling in their second week of May 2025 with regards to the one they're thinking about, dealing with or manifesting in? 3 cards for how Pisces is feeling, please. Right, so we've got the Knight of Swords and the Strength card. Now, the Strength is the major for Leo, okay? And it's in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot deck, there's an image of a lion, which is really muscular and brave, and you know, it's trying to be fierce, and there's a need to be restrained, and the woman is trying to hold him back. So it's about being emotionally strong, not, you know, it's not brains, it's not brawn, but it's like we're trying to control and tame ourselves, control that temper. But there's an urgent message to be delivered with the Knight of Swords. Ooh, who's got your goat? It doesn't have to be anger, it could be emotion like a need to control, you know, watery emotion. But if you think about Leo the lion, he's very fiery, he's fierce, you know. So I tend to think withhold anger. Whoops, oh for goodness sake. Page of Wands, but in combination with the Knight of Cups. Now I don't know whether that was, I think it was reversed, the Knight of Cups. I think you fancy someone, Pisces. There's an urgent message to be delivered, but we need to control ourselves. And then you've got the Knight of Cups reversed with the Page of Wands. So it's like you're really struggling to hold back because you feel like really into this person. Like the Knight of Cups is very Romeo, Juliet vibes. Like, I have to have this person, it can't be anyone else. You know, like you're proper whiling for them. It's very emotional. Like, Page of Wands is someone that's really eager for a new adventure. It's not a Knight of Wands, it's not sexual or sordid, it's Knight of Cups. Like, I really think I could fall for this person. You know, they're wifey material, they're husband material, like, I'm really into them. And you were, like, not doing it. The Swords of communication, and there's Knight of Swords, but then you're holding back, and then it's like, I want to show them how much I care about them, but I'm not going to, but I'm excited about this. Does that make sense? Pages are just at the start of a journey, so it's someone that you've just met. You're thrilled. If this hasn't happened, then it's probably going to happen next week or in the next few weeks. Could have already happened though. Oh my god. What kind of reading is this. It's just so lovely. Like, we've got the Four of Wands and we've got the Lovers. Okay, so it's the major for Gemini, but it's also a divine union. Two people, when this is upright, two people love each other. They're meant to be together. When it's reversed, it's unrequited love. One person loves, but the other doesn't. This is two people that are divinely guided, and there's going to be a beautiful marriage, home ownership, like a stable future together. That's what you desire anyway. You have gone from 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds. You like a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, like you've skipped like 10 years ahead. You're like, oh my god, this is the one. This is the one. Yeah, you need to slow your row. You need to hold your horses, because you're gonna freak this person out. I mean, they might really love that, but I don't know how long you've known this person for. If you're a page, it's like, you're allowed to be excited. You're allowed to be excited, but I think you should wait a few weeks before you say it, you know? But that's lovely that you found that and you feel that way. No bad thing at all. Very envious. Right, so for them, they've got the Four of Swords reversed and the King of Pentacles reversed. So if these were upright, I'd say they're resting because their finances are secure, they're feeling generous, they're abundant, they're responsible. This person is restless because finances are poor at the moment, and it could just be, this happens to all of us, but bills could have gone up, rent could have gone up. They may suddenly have more outgoings than what's coming in. It's like the pentacles are falling out of the wallet or the purse for some reason. Maybe that's what's making them really restless. It's Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy on this side. Let's see what else comes out. Heartbreak. They could have recently split up with someone, and that's why. You know, they definitely had the heart broken. It hasn't worked out, and that maybe that's why, you know, they've lost money, because they've had to spend, you know, money on flights or new accommodation, Airbnb, you know, moved back in with parents, might have to get rid of the car. When you've had joint finances and you become single again, there's a period of readjustment, isn't there? Or they may have left a job or got made redundant and then the person's left them. I don't know which way round it is, but there's a strain on finances at the moment. And I mean, I've had people leave me, you know, and it's a jerk move, but they've left because I left a career, and then they were like, well, now we can't get a house, or now we can't do this or that, and they weren't prepared to wait, so they just swapped me for someone that did have the money to do that at the time. And it's like, you know, it's a really like jerk move, but people make decisions like that because maybe their finances are dependent on you know, this plan that they thought was coming together. But they shouldn't have counted the chickens before they were hatched. Do you know what I mean? Temperance reversed. So that it's the major arcana for Sagittarius. They could be a Sagittarius. They don't have to be. What this shows me is they're very restless. They're very emotional. They're very angry, worried, pissed off. I think maybe that's telling me that someone's left them because work wasn't going well, or they recently left, you know, a well-paid job or course or something. So this person was like, oh yeah, we're going to be like in the money. they left it, told them, then the person bloody broke up with them. And it's really like thrown them into turmoil, and like they're really pissed off with the disloyalty. I know that's very specific, but it's like the narrative that's coming out. And I've had it happen to me. Ten of Wands. It's been a long cycle of trials and tribulations, and it's at the end. Three of Pentacles, lack of cooperation, lack of teamwork. The Magician reversed, feeling hopeless, feeling useless, feeling like you haven't got what you need, feeling like something's been really unfair and unjust. With the Justice reversed, this person left them. That's really triggered me, because I've been in that situation. It really knocked my confidence. I thought I was unattractive. I thought I wasn't a good option. I thought I wasn't someone to be with. It really knocked my confidence, and it pisses me off if that happens to this person, because I was young, and it affects like how you view yourself and like whether you think you're good enough. In reality, that person doesn't deserve you. You know, if people are trying to pressure you into stuff, financial, like stuff like mortgages, when you're not ready, they try to pressure you into staying in a career that you don't want to stay in, because it suits them. It's because they're under pressure financially. It's not because it's the right thing for you. So, you know, if it's not your mortgage to pay, if you didn't sign on the dotted line, or they've got a gambling problem, or they've got addiction, or they've got, you know, blood-sucking like relatives that are like operating them. No, they don't get your money, and no, you're not going to stay in a career you don't want to be in. I know you're not going to get on a mortgage to save them from whatever situation they signed up for. You know, they're not thinking about you. They're not giving you time to grow. As a young person, if they're kind of rushing headfirst into serious commitment like that, that's their fault. You know, so let them do what they're doing. But they can do it without you. And it'll be horrible. It'll make you feel like shit, but trust me, you're better off without them. They're on a different time frame to you, and they'll see you as the loser, and they'll call you that, but it doesn't mean they're going off to abundance. You know, they're creating more problems for themselves. And it's like when someone bites off more than they can chew, and then they're just too arrogant or egotistical to admit it. So they're just like, it's your fault, it's your fault. No, it's your mortgage, mate. Right, sorry, I've just been triggered there. Six of Cups. Six of Cups in the challenge. Yeah, a soul connection that's hanging in the balance. Did they love me? Did they not? Was it real? Was it not? How could they do this to me? Was I special to them? Well, this person is going to come in for you, Pisces. They're not being treated right where they are. They're being pressured to do things they're not ready for. When they're down on the luck, this person's left them. And it's just not cool. That's totally disloyal, actually. So they're going to be very upset and very guarded for a while, because they feel that this was really disloyal, really unjust, unfair. You know, they thought they were in a ride or die connection where there's just unconditional love, where cups have been built up, trust is being built up. It's totally thrown them through a loop, this. And they're just really like, you know, like when the rug's pulled from beneath you, it's just really like thrown them, really jolted them, and their sense of like, you don't trust yourself when you've put your heart in someone's hands, and that person's made you think that you can rely on them and you'll always be together and there's no one else, and it's always going to be the two of you, like a team. and then they just flip on you and change on you just like that, and it's decided, it's a done, it's already like, they're already over it. It's like, what the flop is going on? And you're just like, who are you? Like, if things don't make sense and someone just randomly ends it, it's because there's more in the picture than what you've been shown. There's more going on that you've been told about. Okay, they've got secrets, they've got death, they've got something, a criminal conviction, or they've got some kind of addiction, or they're being operated by someone. If someone just flips on you and randomly disappears, there's more going on than what you know about. It's probably best that you don't know, to be honest. It'll piss you off, it'll confuse you, but you can stay back in your normal life, do you know what I mean? And they can keep being a weirdo. 6 of Wands reversed, so a lack of recognition, feeling unappreciated, feeling unsuccessful, feeling like a big fat failure. Not nice, okay? That's how this situation has made you feel. You feel let down, you feel cheated out of a love situation. You weren't supposed to be starting over again. Sorry, I'm saying you, but this is your person, the one that's coming in the future. They've been let down by their person. It was unjust, it was unfair. You know, they may have got like a reduction in pay, or not kind of found themselves going up the ladder as quickly as they would have liked, and they've been dumped for it, basically. So they're going to be really depressed, really low, you know, have problems with confidence and self-esteem for a while, but they're just not meant to be with this person. And you're looking for loyalty, love, stability, and this person's going to come in for you. They're actually a King of Pentacles, so when things are going well, they're very generous. Their love language is to gift people. They're usually really responsible with money. They could just be young, you know, and they haven't got to a situation where they're actually earning enough money to sort of have a slush fund or have savings. When you're in your 20s, it's like impossible to have savings, but as they get older, they'll get better and better at this. They'll be like the best at it. And particularly when you've been left for a financial reason, and you get like pure issues and hang-ups over it, and then you go, right, I'm gonna like level up now, and you put it into, you transmute it into positive action, decisive action, divisive action, and you become the best at money. You become, you know, someone who continues to be generous, someone who rewards themselves, who spoils other people, earns great money, has savings. Like, they're going to become the best because of this. So there's someone to be with. I'm not saying you're getting a dud, but they feel bitter about what's happened. They feel let down. They feel frightened to trust. Let's do some digging and see what's gone on here. I think they're coming in for you, but don't think this is you and them. I think they've been let down by someone. Someone who's impatient, that doesn't want to, you know, grow with them. They want them to be ready now, and they're not. Told you, they've been burned. They're afraid to love again, unhealed. You know, they may like run away from anything serious if you try to get serious with them really quickly. They might just be like, I can't, I don't want that right now. They need some healing time, okay? Up in the air, not able to make solid plans, flighty, ungrounded. Just keep getting let down by people. It's not nice. Imagine your worst insecurities being used as a reason not to be with you by the person you love and trust. Like, you're shit with money, you know, you're taking too long, you're not good enough. Like, in reality, that other person has got some kind of like urgent need for money, haven't they? they've got themselves into something, they've bitten off more than they can chew, but they're projecting it onto this person who's probably just younger or needs a bit longer to figure out the career. You know, maybe they'll never make amazing money in what they do, but it's a good job. It's like a vocation, or it's something humanitarian. They help people. Don't have to be a millionaire, but the values could be different to what the other person's are, or the other person might not be able to afford to wait because they've made some sort of financial commitment, like to a bank or to relatives, and they've got to return the favour. They've got to get that money back. That's on them, but they're going to project it onto this person out of ego. Anyway, they've definitely been burned and they're broken-hearted. It's going to take a while for them to move on. They just don't feel like they've got their feet on solid ground. Like, they don't trust anyone, like, who's, potential relationship material now. They don't know who to trust. Hidden thorns. Look beyond the romance to discern true intentions. They got romanced by this person, like traditional, like roses, champagne, lovely romantic dates, getting collected in the car. But when push came to shove, this person bailed on them, right? They weren't there for sickness and in health, like, for redundancy or having a change of career and having a bit of a panic or a wobble about it. They've just fucked off, haven't they? So they're not as loyal as what they made out. Shadowed waters. Beware illusions that skim the surface, for true understanding lies in the deep. They got someone doing like a 180 on them. Or a 360. Still can't decide which one of those is right. I need a maths teacher to explain that to me. Because if you're doing a 180, you're just going in a straight line, aren't you? Are you not? I'd say a 360 because they're going back on what they originally said. Do you know what I mean? Tell me what you think about that. Right, shut up, Jenny. Have I just contradicted myself? I feel like I have. No, 180 you're going in a straight line, 360 you're going back on yourself. I think I'm right. But then I'm Taurus, so you can't persuade me of stuff easily. Ooh, watching shit go down, enjoying the gossip. What the hell? It's all popping off. They may be really, like when you have your heart broken by someone you thought you were going to share the rest of your life with, you feel betrayed by them. You need to kind of know what's going on with them. You're really fighting that urge to go and like try to convince them to change their mind. Other people feel, like they want to be a busybody and tell you what's going on with them. Are they seeing anyone? You kind of want the information because you want to know if they've moved on yet, and you're glad when you hear that they haven't. If they start to unravel, you're kind of pleased about it. If they start seeing someone else, it breaks your heart. So it's like, I think this person's just like keeping tabs on this ex at the moment. Probably bitter, but at the same time, you get so bitter and angry because you hurt, you feel like you were wronged. Let's get a confession. We don't need confession because this is someone else's narrative with a different person. It's not yours. So I'm not going to do confession. It wouldn't make sense. I'm not going to do messages. This is someone that's coming in for you in the future, Pisces. So I'm going to get a time in. surely it's going to be a while then until this is ready. Like, I'm just going to say 6 months to a year. Because they're pretty messed up off that. I wouldn't be ready. I wouldn't be ready in a few months to be in a serious thing. Release all expectations. I think it's going to be like, realistically, 6 months to a year when this person comes in. But you're manifesting them. Is there anything else they can get for like what went on with them? They're too caught up in, like, you know, they're really bitter about this person. They've not detached from it. They're not numb over it. They're full of feeling and emotion. So you don't want someone when they're like unhinged, pissed off at someone, or like, you know, resentful. You don't want someone who's like untrusting. You don't want their issues. You want them to heal and then come in. Yeah, they thought that they were going to get married to this person. They were expecting engagement, but this person was a narcissist, or they were being operated by a narcissist, okay? It won't feel like this at the time, but in years to come, they'll realise someone was watching over them. Someone was watching over this person, and they didn't allow it. A loved one that's passed away, who's now in the 5D, is not allowing this person to be in a dysfunctional situation. They're not allowing it. Somehow there was dysfunction, there was a narcissist involved. In my situation, it was his parent that was a narcissist. He wasn't, but he was just blind to her. She was completely operating him. Okay, so financially manipulating things, controlling finances, controlling emotions, very emotionally abusive and financially abusive as well. They did intend to marry the person, but it's all gone tits up, and it's actually like a blessing in disguise, but no one ever sees it like that at the time. They just don't, and it's not supposed to be seen like that at the time. They need time to heal, okay? I'm gonna give it about a year, to be honest, because that's if you look at what they had coming out, they feel like absolutely done. They're just fried off this, you know, lack of cooperation. They feel useless. They feel hopeless. They feel like this was really unfair, really unjust. There's a lot of resentment. They feel like they're not good enough now. They don't believe in love. That's how I felt. I felt like, well, if I can't trust this person, I wouldn't know who to trust. Because they were so good at the romance, and they were fair with money, and they were, you know, a very like confident person. It made me feel more confident, and they encouraged me every step of the way to think, I'm not going anywhere. You're the only one I want to be with. I've got all these plans like for the future. And it wasn't love bombing, but I just think that whilst it was what the narcissist wanted, it happened that way. And then when it no longer fit, because I left my job, it no longer fit the plan of the narcissist. He was operating him, so she decided I wasn't in favour anymore then. And, you know, fed him the idea that he was going to move to another country and marry someone else. So, and all he ever wanted was his mother's recognition, acceptance, approval, love. That's what pissed me off the most, to be honest, was the injustice, was that, because I could see it happening. I could see that happening, and he couldn't see it at all. Just weird. Well, that's a lifetime of being treated badly, you know. That's your blueprint for life, so you don't know any different, right? I'm not going to get messages because they don't know about you yet. This person is orchestrating a beautiful match in you to them because they deserve better. Anything else about what went down here, please? The runner. Runner in a codependent relationship, fear of intimacy, listening to ego. I don't think the person is a runner. I think their person could be a runner. You know, they dangle commitment and then take it away. Or this person's become a runner because, you know, the fear of like being let down again. I'm just having another look at these. I mean, God, you know, if you realise like you can't trust anyone, you would get commitment issues off that. Let's get advice. We've got time in. Just dropped a card. If this is resonating for Pisces and they're not currently with anyone, actually, no, I said, yeah, you're not with anyone, but you got like a crush on someone and you don't feel like you should tell them how you feel about them. But you really, really want stability. You really want the Four of Wands, which is marriage, you know, a house together. You want to be exclusive. You want commitment. You want a divine union where you are together forever. You're really tempering yourself and holding yourself back. Maybe you're aware of, you know, it's like when you've started to be in the company of someone and they're going on about the ex, the crazy ex, the toxic ex, or how their ex did them over. And you're just like, wow, they're so not over that. I can totally see potential with them, but they're just not in a place to be dating because they're just obsessed with like stalking the ex and seeing things go, you know, badly for them. They want things to go badly for them. You know, they can't stand them. They're really hurt. They're really bitter. You know, they're in a bad way emotionally. Sometimes you just think it's so not the right time to be like telling them that I like them. So that makes sense why it said release all expectations. So what is your advice about this person? Travel. Seeing the surface of the ocean is not the same as diving deep to see the coral. Be careful, Pisces, that you haven't crushed on someone based off what they look like and you haven't got these ideals in your head about what the personality is like. If you don't know them that well, maybe get to know them better, or find out more about what went on. They're saying wait, okay, and find out more so that you can judge this person's character in their own right and not see them as like a delicious, fragile wallflower, or just a really sweet guy that just got totally like used. Because there's two sides to every story. However, I do think that someone was being operated by a narcissist, and it probably was really unjust what happened. They got done out of commitment by someone that was actually probably in love with them. But make sure you're not just wiling off someone because of what they look like and you think that you would look nice together. I don't know why it's giving me that, but it's just saying find out more, take the time to get to know this person. Maybe you need to, date for a while and explore what you want and make sure that, this is the person that you want. Because they're not going to be available for a bit, like another year or something. Not emotionally. You don't want someone who's like just constantly going on about their ex. Like, that's never good. Goodness. I refine my character and overcome difficulties by remaining positive. I calm my heart and illuminate my intellect to transform shadow into light. I consciously manifest goodness in and around me. I improve my qualities for the benefit of all. So instead of feeling possessive over this person, we can hold a space in our heart for them. And we can say, do you know what? You've been through it. You're blinded, you've got your blinkers on, you think the sun shines out that person's arse, you're really upset over them, you're going to be distressed over them for quite a long time yet. And that's your prerogative, your feelings. People's feelings are valid. If they've been really devoted to someone, if they trusted them and they've been let down, their feelings are valid. They're allowed to be upset. They're allowed to need time to heal. And they're allowed to be in pain. We can't rush other people's healing. We have to have unconditional love for them. We have to hold a space in our hearts for people who are not ready for our love. And we have to, potentially like understand that we may not get this person. We may not get them. By the time they're healed, we could be with someone else, or they could meet someone else, or it's not meant to be. But if you want the best for them, that is putting yourself in a really positive, high vibrational light, and you can ask the universe for someone with their qualities, and you may get this person. You may get this person, but you may not. But to have an open heart space and not hold a grudge, not be resentful, to have unconditional love, to want the best for them, that's a really high vibrational place to be. Someone from my friend group, from the group of friends when this happened to me, he liked me, and I know that he's a really good guy, and I know that he'd be like a solid option, but I don't want anyone connected to that person because it makes me feel like I'm back in that time of my life. I don't want to go backwards. I want to move forwards. There's billions of people in the world, 9.5 billion people in the world. I don't need to go to the same friend group from 20 years ago and get with someone that was best mates with that person. I don't need to do that. And I'm not saying that person isn't good enough, but sometimes you just want to move forwards, and you do that by moving to different countries, moving into different careers, different workplaces, meeting new friends, getting fresh souls, fresh energy for the person that you are in your life now, 20 years on. I'm not the person that I was back then, so maybe he's remembering what I was like and thinks that we would work together, but I can't go backwards, do you know what I mean? And it's not because I think that person isn't good enough, but anything connected to that is too painful to access. It feels immature, like I'm going backwards. So look at this is beautiful. In tarot, water is love, isn't it? Water's emotions, cups are full of water, and we've got the heart space here, creator and water. It's about loving people unconditionally. Sometimes you can recognize the value in someone and still let them go. Even if you're like a friend of a friend or a mutual friend and you think this person's worth so much, you might not get to have them. You might not get to be the one that makes them feel special. It might be someone else, but at least you know that they finally got what they deserve, and they've got a beautiful connection and you're happy to see them happy, even if it's not with you. I really like these cards. I think that's beautiful energy. It's what's best for all, isn't it, that's important. I feel sorry for the person being operated by a narc. That's the person you should feel most sorry for, because they're stuck. Everyone else will move on. You'll find someone, Pisces. This person will find someone. Hopefully they find someone, but we just got to live and let live. Okay, it's a big, beautiful world out there. Loads of people to date, loads of people to explore, different ways of living, different ways of being, different levels of success, different cultures, different styles. We don't need to go backwards. All right, we have reached the end. Take care. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it resonates for some people out there. Please give me a like, share, subscribe, follow, repost, and I'll see you in the next one. I will be separating the lives up into individual readings, okay, for each of the zodiac signs as well, because I think it catches more people that way. But if you joined me for the live, thank you. Or if you catch the live, thank you. Have a good rest of your evening, guys, and have a good week next week.